tonight, City Council, they are going to address a couple of things. One is the ballot issue. The
question on the ballot, yeah,
right, about putting the plaza up to a vote. All right, so
should the city of Yakima construct a community plaza on city parking lot number 2 directly west of the Capitol Theater?
Let's review some things here.
Okay.
If you're tired of Plaza talk, feel free to make your way and go somewhere else. But there's some important things that need to be said and touched on, as this could be the last time that this stuff gets talked about until November vote. So let's turn back the clock. We turn back the clock to March the 6th, I believe. At that council meeting, Dulce Gutierrez made a motion, and it was seconded, to kill the project. To kill the project, if you'll recall. Now, here's a couple of points that I want to make. I'm going to use the language of the council members themselves to illustrate these points. Here's what's going on. 3 members of the council want to kill the project flat out, okay? So they said, look, I've been against the project, and so I'm being consistent. I'm against the project, yada, yada.
Right.
One of them said that. You'll hear that in a second. One of the things that's being used is that we don't have any money, that we're out of money, that we don't have money for this sort of thing. And another line is that you know, we've worked hard to try to find common ground, and we haven't been able to, and we don't have the information that we need. American people want 5 main things from their elected officials, according to Frank Luntz, Fox pollster. He wrote a book called What Americans Really Want, Really. And he said accountability, respect, results, bold action, and oversight. And his study of humankind for many, many years as a pollster led him to write that book. And it was sort of a guidebook for politicians. You've got to be accountable, show respect, get results, take bold action, and then follow up, oversight. So I have my beefs with different members of the council, and I clearly say this to their face when given the opportunity. Jason White, you're going to hear from him first. Now, he's the one that presented the prospect of the vote. The reason the vote was being brought up is because those people who believe in the vote believe the vote will kill the plaza. The 3 people who initially support this, Jason White, Dulce Gutierrez, and Holly Cousins, all want to kill the project. They each have their own reasons or motivations. The swing vote is Dr. Kay Funk. She's the swing vote. Okay, so what do we know? How honest is the debate? How are you being respected in this process? All right, because I'm going to take the assumption that you know about the plaza, you know its intent is to be an economic development tool, you know that it has worked well in other places, and that it could work in Yakima. We'll use that as my starting point.
All right.
So here we go. This is Jason White at the council meeting in March.
I understand the frustrations that people that were promised that if they raise this money that it would be built, and I understand your concerns and your frustrations that we should be held accountable at the city. I believe that I'd stand behind you 100%, that we hold whoever is accountable for giving you false information about that, be held accountable.
All right, false information. He's parroting Bruce Smith's claim that the information about could you use the plaza is not true. It's an opinion. It's not false information. It's an opinion that could be decided in a court. There's plenty of precedent for doing what the city's doing to repurpose something. The time frame for payment on the LID was, 20 years, 25 years? It's been over for 20 years. There's precedent to do what's being talked about doing. You disagree? Okay, meet you in court. That's where we're at. But he's not taking that approach. He's telling you that you were given false information and that it's built on a lie. And that in and of itself is a lie. That's not true. He continues.
And it was false information. The ordinance that is on the books since 1972 was misquoted. And that led everybody to believe that if they raised the money, that this project would happen.
Not true. Wasn't misquoted. We looked at this back when I was on council. Again, it's difficult to parrot somebody else's argument, and that's what he's trying to do. And that's why he doesn't deliver it articulately and with confidence.
But right now, that's the decision that we're faced with. Back in 1974, business owners went in, made a commitment, and the city made a legal binding ordinance that now we are able to, now that we're...
What you just heard there was the mayor whispering, "Jeff, you better wake up." That's Kathy Coffey telling Jeff Cutter, you hear what he's saying here? He's violating the closed door executive session conversations and the fact that we are under threat of lawsuit. He shouldn't be allowed to say this.
Required to uphold. The city was very aware of this for the last 4 years, but for some reason they didn't take action on it. They didn't they didn't make any kind of progress on that.
And the reason is because we believed and still believe, and it's an opinion, hasn't been decided legally, that we had every right to do it based on city precedent, by legal precedent. There are plenty of ordinances that are made and then undone as you go about your business and circumstances change. So he's parroting the parking people's position, and he's about to be told to stand down.
And now we're here, after you raise the money, with that ordinance in effect. And after going out and speaking to my constituents...
Madam Mayor, I will have to break in at this point because we have been threatened with litigation, and it's totally inappropriate to be having this conversation.
You're out of line.
Okay, so here's the guy that brings up the let's take it to a vote, who is violating the principles of executive session and how to conduct yourself when you're under legal threat. So there's your point man. Doesn't know what he can and can't say, doesn't know how to say what he's trying to say, and he's the point guy against it. And why is he in this position? Ask yourself.
We have been in executive session. You have been warned about discussing this, and I think you need to be very, very cautious here.
That's been public information. And so it's been my constituent base was probably 80% opposed to this project.
Okay. He was elected by 500 people. 80% would be 400 people in a city of 95,000. How many registered voters in Yakima, Lance?
Upwards of them, well, in Yakima.
About 50,000 or better?
Yeah, 48, 50,000, yeah.
Yeah, and 400 of them, his constituents, are against it. Just so you have perspective, when he says 80% of the people who are my people, you're talking about 400 people, okay? Just for perspective. We're not done yet, though.
And I ran on that, and people supported me very heavily. And the third is our funding.
All right, we're talking money here. This is going to be a reoccurring theme. One of the reasons that was given that we had to deal with this as a vote is because we're concerned about money. You're going to hear about money a number of times. You're going to hear about money tonight and looking for money and how to use money. Money's the deal, so listen up.
Our priorities. We are literally broke right now as a city. We don't have money. We're not meeting our current financial obligations. And it's been very, very important to me that we get there. And we have a lot of very, very good capital improvement projects that are on the table. This is one of them. And moving forward, we have a lot of hard decisions to make. And, I don't take this decision lightly. And the community stepped up big. And I'm sorry that they were under those assumptions.
I have to step in and say
Here's the mayor.
We are meeting our financial obligations. You have to be careful when you make comments like that and understand that you have to speak. You cannot just say things like that without having fiduciary responsibility and proof.
All right, so the point man on putting it on the ballot lies to you about your financial state, says we don't have money, we can't even pay our bills. A, he's either clueless, or B, he's being deceptive. One of those two. One of those two. He's a city councilman. He deals with the budget. He knows whether we're making our bills or not. And we are, and have been. It's not been a problem. And yet he says we're broke. We can't even meet our... What's the point of saying something like that? Well, why would we invest money in a plaza if we're broke? That's an attempt to mislead. It's an attempt to deceive. Or he's an idiot. Either way. Okay, so that's the guy. That's the point guy. That is Councilman Jason White from the month of March. Now, Holly Cousins. Holly Cousins has been against the plaza all along. Listen to, this is what you call spin, okay? Spin.
I campaigned against the plaza. I will stick to that campaign promise, but I want to tell you why. I did knock on numerous doors in 2015 when I ran, and majority of my constituents wanted the no vote on the plaza, so I took a hard stance on that. And
how nice of you to represent your constituents. A little reminder that when 502 went through the marijuana issue, her constituents voted 2-1. 2-1, 4,000 to 2,000 votes, no on marijuana. And who led the charge for marijuana for the city?
Yeah,
she did. In total defiance of the expressed will of her constituents, on a 2-1 margin, she led the charge, made the motions, made sure that the city got marijuana. Why? Personal connections? Payback for financial support for her campaign? I can't say. Those things are there to be examined. But that's not the point. The point is what she says next.
In keeping my word, I have continually voted no on the plaza, but as I have learned more, seated as a council member, I can't responsibly vote in favor of the plaza for multiple reasons, and
for multiple reasons, she cannot responsibly vote. Not the past, but for current responsible reasons.
Tell you, as a council member, as Councilmember Gutierrez has stated, we have not gotten all of the pieces that we need to answer the questions that we have.
We don't have all of our information. Okay, so let's vote to kill it. Not go get that information, not demand that information and examine it and see how it holds up. This is in a vote to kill the plaza. And so with lacking total information, let's just bag it.
Cost overrides.
What? Cost overrides? How do you know what the cost overrides are? Is there something built into the budget to take care of cost overrides? Answer, yes, there is.
Litigation answers. There's just a lot of questions that we don't have answers, and so if we can't answer those for you, as Councilmember White has said, the community has stepped up big, and we have a responsibility to you to protect the money that you have stepped up and donated to ensure that that is going to a cause that is going to be legit. And
so there you go. There's your spin. I'm protecting you, $9.6 million donors, because I don't know about a bunch of questions that I don't know about, such as how the litigation might go, how the cost overruns are going to be. Who knows that in advance, other than do you have money built in to cover those or don't you? That's why we've got to vote to kill it, in order to protect your money so you don't invest in a plaza that you want that's not legit. Now, come on, that is some great representation right there. You're saving the people from a $9.6 million folly because you don't have all the answers to all the questions at this point. So let's just kill this sucker. Right? See, that's spin. Now, there's more, and then we're going to address Dr. Funk, the swing vote. Just like everybody said, Justice Kennedy was the swing vote. 4 conservatives, 4 liberals. Which way would Kennedy go? That's the way it would go. You've got 3 people wanting to kill the plaza, 3 people wanting the plaza to go forward, 1 swing vote. K. Funk, how would she vote on killing the plaza in March? And then how would she vote 3 months later? That's what we'll take a look at when we come back. You're tuned to The Source, News Talk 1280 KIT.